On the edge of the Nevada-California border, about 40 miles south of Las Vegas, lies the teeny desert town of Primm. For travelers heading along Interstate 15, Primm has always been a familiar sight. The first glimmer of neon lights signaling that Las Vegas is near, or the last taste of the casino experience before crossing into California. For decades, Primm has been both a gateway and a destination, with its identity tied to the three casinos that put it on the map. Primm began humbly, originally known as State Line. It was more than a stopover, a gas station, and a few small shops, and a place to grab a quick bite before braving the desert stretch of highway. But as Las Vegas exploded in popularity, entrepreneurs saw opportunity in even this small town. Slowly but surely, State Line evolved from a pit stop into a miniature version of Vegas itself. The first major development was Whiskey Pete's, a casino themed after a Wild West prospector. It opened in the 1970s and drew in gamblers looking for one last spin on the slots before leaving Nevada. The name came from Whiskey Pete McIntyre, a local bootlegger whose legend still lingers in stories around the area. The success of Whiskey Pete's proved there was more money to be made here, and soon the expansion began. In 1990, the Prima Donna Resort and Casino opened its doors, later rebranded to become the Primm Valley Resort. With nearly 600 hotel rooms, a sprawling casino floor, and a direct connection to the fashion outlets of Las Vegas, it became the centerpiece of town. Families who didn't want to pay full Vegas prices could stay in Primm. Travelers pulling off the highway could gamble without making the full drive north, and bargain hunters found a reason to visit with the addition of the outlet mall, which boasted over 100 stores. Not long after, Buffalo Bills was built, completing the trio, its Western theme, huge concert arena, and the record breaking Desperado roller coaster gave it an identity of its own. For a time, Buffalo Bills was a true attraction, drawing not only past buyers, but tourists specifically making the trip to ride one of the tallest and fastest roller coasters in the world. Together, Whiskey Pete's, Buffalo Bills, and the Primm Valley Resort created a unique oasis in the desert. For many families traveling between California, Nevada, Primm became a tradition, a place to stretch your legs, grab a meal, and maybe ride the roller coaster, or at least play a few hands of blackjack before continuing on the journey. But in May of 1997, Primm Valley Resort became the site of a tragedy that would change its reputation forever. 7-year-old Sharice Iverson, visiting her family, was killed inside the casino. Her father had been gambling late into the night, and Sharice, left largely unsupervised, wandered the halls of the resort. Tragically, she crossed paths with a man who took her life inside of a bathroom. The crime was horrifying, and it cast a shadow over the resort that is never fully lifted. The public outrage only grew when details emerged about another young man who had been there with the killer that night. His name was David Cash Jr., and while he didn't commit the crime, he admitted to witnessing suspicious behavior and chose not to intervene. Cash later testified in court but was never charged because under Nevada law at the time, failing to act was not considered a crime. What shocked the country even more were his comments afterward in interviews. Cash said openly that he did not feel guilty. He claimed he could still have a normal life, go to class, see a movie, and enjoy himself without regret. These remarks drew as much outrage as the crime itself, painting him as a symbol of indifference and a moral failure. The case sparked heated debate nationwide. Many argued while Cash hadn't committed the murder, he bore moral responsibility for not stepping in or calling for help. Nevada lawmakers proposed what became known as the Sharice Iverson Law, which would have required citizens to report violent crimes against children if they saw them happening. While the law was debated, revised, and never fully implemented in its original form, it left a long lasting mark on how people viewed bystander responsibility. The tragedy raised uncomfortable questions about morality. What do we owe one another when someone's life is at stake? And what does it mean when someone can stand by and do nothing? Today, Primm Valley Resort still stands, but the town around it has faded dramatically. The bustling energy of the 1990s and the early 2000s has given way to long stretches of quiet. On weekends, you can still see cars in the parking lot and people at the slot machines, but the crowds are a fraction of what they once were. Buffalo Bill's, once the pride of the town, has closed and reopened several times, struggling to keep its doors open. The iconic Desperado roller coaster, which once drew thrill seekers from across the region, has sat idle for years, a silent reminder of better times. Whiskey Pete's, too, has seen reduced operations, opening only during busier periods and closing for months at a time, and permanently closed in December of 2024. And the fashion outlets of Las Vegas, once connected directly to the resort and marketed as a must stop shopping experience, have now permanently shut their doors, and their massive halls, once filled with shoppers hunting for bargains, now sit completely empty aside from one small thrift shop. For many travelers, Primm has become a ghost of what it used to be, a fading roadside attraction overshadowed by the nonstop excitement of Las Vegas, just 40 miles away. Yet for others, it will always be remembered not for its decline, but for the tragedy of 1997 and for the debate around morality and responsibility. Primm Valley Resort is more than just a casino in the desert. Its history is one of growth, tragedy, controversy, and decline. A story that reveals not only how towns rise and fall, but how one event can forever shape the way we remember a place.